Good morning. Hello, everyone. My name is Anupa Pradhan. I'm the Regional Sales Manager at Sea-Link International Inc. It's a pleasure to be the keynote here at the Tradefox Virtual Recycling Conference. I think we've all moved away into the comforts of our own home. Long other days gone where we would meet in Vegas or Miami. And though I miss that because the networking was really great for all of us, I'm pretty sure everybody else misses it too. But business has to go on. So here I am, being a part of this conference to try and see if I can throw some light on the supply chain and logistical challenges of recycled materials that companies like mine face. Every shipper or a trader has to move their cargo from point A to point B. And the first question that I get asked is, what is the rate? What is the all-in rate? There's always that all-in question. Unfortunately, there is no all-in rate. We try to give all-in rates to make it simpler, but none of the rates are all in. There's always a freight component, there's a bunker, there's security charges, there's sulfur charges, so many charges. Not just that, once your shipment is on water and you're changing your documents, there might be some manifest correctors, there might be telex release fees, and every carrier has a different way of charging. Not just shipping lines, airlines do the same things. In fact, airlines have stricter rules when it comes to changes. Drayage companies, domestic shippers, everybody has many ancillary charges that get added on to your shipment. So unfortunately, there is no all-in rate. But we're trying our best to come to you with something that can be very close to an all-in rate. USA has largely been an FAS market with things recently changing to ex-works or CNF. And I think the reason for this is that maybe some of the suppliers want to get into the game for trade, get into the game for the freight. Some of the consignees want to take things into their own hand. So they're trying to extend out into different markets. Now, what that means for somebody like us is that we can offer you a seamless solution. We can offer you a seamless rate. However, this can be a very, very challenging thing because we have to consider all the different parameters that go on into the drayage of something, into the loading of something, etc. So it's quite challenging to get those rates out. Recyclables like metals, papers, plastics, whatever, they are mostly non-seasonal. So there is no such one season where you might have that there's going to be X price and then it's going to fall later or it's going to be up later. No, there's constant changes. We've seen a month recently in August where rates went down like, I think 3 times in the month. And this happens pretty much every year. There's a few times where they'll go up rapidly. There's sometimes in the year when they come down rapidly. So we're facing constant changes. Every month there is a different rate. Airlines is even more volatile because I think we have to give like daily. Sometimes there's 2 or 3 days validity. Sometimes it's a week validity. Trucking, domestic is literally changing by the day, depending on the availability, depending on the distance. There's so many variables that there is no one rate. I don't think it is going to be possible for us to ever control these ever-changing rates and to bring them into a certain spectrum. The next thing is technology. Those of you who know Sea-Link know that we're the pioneers of an app that gives you a rate. Where we have a website. All of that is being innovated from our teams. But are we really ready for technology? Are shipping lines really ready for technology? Are airlines really ready for technology in terms of rates? I don't think so, not yet. Everybody is trying to get there, but not everyone is there yet. Like most of the shipping lines don't have their rates online. They don't have any idea of how they're going to link, if they have any online rates, how they're going to link it to forwarders like us, how are we going to link it to customers. So I think when it comes to that sort of technology, we're still far behind. Coming to operational challenges, I have tried to break it down into 5 things. So booking in space is one, then container pickup, then container loading, container return, container sailing, and arrival. So this is pretty much your supply chain when it comes to ocean. Of course, it's kind of different with air or with domestic or with drayage, but it's somewhat similar. I wouldn't say that there's that much difference. I'll club booking, space, and container pickup into one. What are the challenges that we face for these? First challenge, especially in the US, weather. Weather conditions make it almost very impossible to predict when there's going to be space, when there's going to be bookings available. Next thing is blank sailings. So we've all seen this happen. Shipping lines either have blank sailings to control some of their inventory, or the ship just didn't arrive on time. There's so many reasons that these blank sailings happen. What happens is that one vessel gets overbooked and then there's nothing for the next 2 weeks. Full ships. So many times we get bumped off because the ship was full. Priority cargo goes first. Obviously, recyclables are the cheaper lot. They're the vessel fillers, so to say. But, when shipping lines have other stuff that they're carrying, that might be paying them a lot more. Unfortunately, recyclables do get a little bit of a step on the treatment. Availability of containers, availability of chassis, communication between the shipping line and the terminal. I have instances of so many phone calls with customers where the booking is not on file. The booking is showing at the terminal, but not showing at the port. There's so many things that go on between actually receiving a booking copy and actually picking up that container and managing to pick up a container on time. This is where we are partnering with NYSHEX, which has come in to kind of say that here, this is your space, you get guaranteed space. You have to, however, be very careful about it because you can't just come there and cancel it when you don't want it. That's not the way it works. So, of course, C-Link has partnered with NYSHEX, but at the same time, we have to keep a close watch on utilization, on which customers are using their bookings, which customers aren't. It is getting more and more challenging, especially with the trade volumes going up, as to who are these customers that we can actually say not deal with because they cancel too often or they leave us with a lot of blank space. So there's a lot of work still to be done in this section. But for one thing, I would really implore to all of you shippers, traders, and I know that it's not always in your hands because your suppliers are the ones who are loading your cargo. But there is definitely going to be some accountability coming quite soon into this industry. Next, we have the container loading and the return. Now, distance, that is one of the major things for loading. I've had conversations for hours discussing how far the yard is and how they cannot come into the terminal on time to be able to pick up the container and go load it and get it back in. There's so much planning required on that front. We understand that. There's bad equipment. Sometimes bad containers get picked up. Sometimes there are delayed vessels and shipping lines just don't know it. Terminals and the shipping lines, again, the communication between them it's a bit of a struggle sometimes, in my opinion. We don't always see a very straight communication between them. So there's sometimes, you have to listen to the terminal. Sometimes there's, you have to listen to the shipping line. So it's like, there's always that confusion as to what exactly are we doing? What exactly should we do? And in this place, I would like to give examples of, really freak stuff happening, like containers get lost. Nobody can find it. It has taken me weeks to find a container. It has taken, the container has gone to Brazil instead of India. The container went to China instead of Japan. It's crazy what kind of things happen when the containers get returned, either maybe on the error of the trucker to the wrong booking, or the error of the shipping line, or the error of the terminal. There's so many places where errors can happen, and we have faced nightmarish weeks to get that sorted out. Next, we come to the container sailing. Here as well, we get the same kind of problems, whether blank sailings, full ships. You can have your containers gated in, but that doesn't mean the shipping line is not going to roll them to the next vessel just because they had something else that they wanted to ship out first. Priority cargo. Communication between the shipping line and the terminal. You might say, why am I saying the same thing again and again? But it is impossible to tell you the importance of how difficult this is, because there is absolutely 100% chance that the terminal doesn't know what the shipping line is doing, and the shipping line doesn't know what the terminal is doing. So that affects your container sailing as well. Again, partnering with NYSHEX has been something that has helped us. However, it's also something that we need to keep monitoring on a daily basis, because ultimately, whether NYSHEX or not, whether blank sailings, that's not gonna matter. We've seen that no matter what we do, some of these challenges just keep happening again and again. We haven't really found solutions to it, because I don't think there are any. As long as they keep happening, we're going to have to deal with them and come to solutions when they happen. The next thing is arrivals. And this is where I start getting panic attacks, because, especially India, where IGMs are filed, Pakistan, where IGMs are filed, there is so much custom bureaucracy that I think everybody who has ever shipped to these nations knows that delays in changing your bill of ladings, delays in releasing your documents can cause so much problem that you can have your cargo sitting at the destination for a really long time, accruing costs every day. None of us want that, but unfortunately, because of all the bureaucracy that we see in these nations, there is not much we can do. It's not just India, actually. A lot of China, Far East, Indonesia, everywhere. There's a lot of problems whenever you're trying to make a change to your document very much late in the game. So we try to make sure that our customers understand that it's really important to get their releases on time, to get their documents corrected on time. We can't stress enough how important it is to get releases on time, because everybody expects that when they ask for a release, we're just going to get it done within an hour. It doesn't work like that. Releases take a long time. Everything has a process to go through these processes. It takes time. So please understand that just because you are waiting for a payment and you won't release your document doesn't mean that when you're ready, it's going to be done within an hour. It generally takes 24 hours, sometimes 48, depending on what kind of a relationship we have with that particular shipping line. So all of these things have to be taken into consideration and has to be done in time before your container is actually arriving. Communication between the origin and destination. Once a ship is manifested, which means once it's sailed, any changes on your document, that you might have seen these emails of charges, and people are like, why are you charging us this, this and that, and everybody's just doesn't want to pay the $40, the $100. But the problem is that once a manifest is closed, any changes have to be actually communicated between the origin and the destination. And this, as you are all very well aware, take days. So just because you asked for it today doesn't mean it's going to be done today. It's going to take probably 3 days, because I don't know, somebody didn't read it the first day, somebody didn't see it the second, and then, you had to escalate it or whatever. We do whatever we can, but we are not privy to the shipping lines' internal communications between their origin and destination offices. So again, here, this is one of my biggest challenges I face because, everybody has a very urgent requirement for documents to be released. I really ask all of our customers, or not even my customers, just anybody else who's in this business, please understand that the processes are not quick. Please try to keep that in mind when you are asking for your next release. Then we come to abandonment of cargo. This has become lately a very problematic occurrence. Who is responsible for this? A lot of people think that the consignee is responsible. Actually, the shipper of the cargo is responsible. How does it affect a freight forwarder, you might ask? Well, we only have a few shipping lines left today to do business with. When a shipping line starts seeing a particular freight forwarder is not taking abandoned cargo seriously, they can immediately stop working with us. They can go after our bonds. They can mainly stop us from using them, which is a big problem because we cannot have lesser lines to work with. How is it going to help us in the in the future to get you the rates that you want? What does it mean for the consignee? Well, generally the consignees, and this might sound unfair, but the consignees, because they are in a different country, tend to go quite unharmed. It's very unfortunate, but the entire onus of getting rid of that cargo, getting it cleared, is all on the shipper. There are changing trends right now, especially with lines being really strict about abandoned cargo. There were days in my, few years back when abandoned cargo was not so seriously taken. Shipping lines would just be like, yeah, okay, we'll keep working with this. Then they'd dispose it off. They wouldn't even charge us sometimes, or they'd take very nominal charges from freight forwarders to get rid of that cargo. But nowadays that is changing. They're actually looking at things a lot closer. They are looking at things at a 30-day period. So if your cargo is reached and you haven't picked it up in 30 days, we start getting emails. We start being asked. We start being held accountable for that cargo immediately. This is where Tradefox comes in. And we're hoping that more and more of our customers go to Tradefox. They get themselves verified here so that we know who to trust and who not to trust. We really depend on feedback that is coming from people like you all. If you have been in touch with a consignee that has not cleared your cargo, we would like to know that. We would like to be made aware that we should take care when it comes to this consignee's cargo. So, and I really appreciate Tradefox's efforts when it comes to verification of customers, and we have used their services very, very heavily in the recent past because we just cannot deal with this anymore. It's not the freight rates, it's not the non-payment of freight that bothers us. It is actually the abandonment of cargo that bothers us. The costs are actually quite staggering, and we've had to clean up the messes of a lot of shippers ourselves, which is it needs to end at some point. Hopefully, with these added verifications and more information being given to us, I think we'll get to a place where we'll have very little cargo being abandoned, and hopefully we'll at least have solutions to all of these problems. The next place we go to is technology. This is one of my favorite topics and Sealing's favorite topics because we're technologically advanced. We've been working on a website since so many years now. All of our customers have our app that they work on, And we are working every day to improve the way rates are given out or documents are given out to customers. This is on our end, though. What do we see on the back end? Is there any improvement in domestic, that is drayage technology? How about air cargo technology? Well, air cargo technology, I must say, is quite advanced. So that is one thing that we all know. Since the airline industry is quite advanced in terms of technology, that has been most forward. But there has been improvement in domestic technology because now we have GPS on trucks, so we can, track the cargo. However, rating, that's not yet there. Shipping lines are trying to get online when it comes to rates, when it comes to BLs, when it comes to, it's trying to go in more and more into the virtual scene. However, we're not there yet. We're getting there, but I don't think we're going to get there anytime soon. I think, especially with shipping lines, because a lot of them still depend on older methods, on their ways of rating, their ways of amending BLs is very different. They don't have the same kind of I can't even connect with some shipping lines on my website. They don't have the APIs. Even if they have a rate quote online, I can't connect it to my website. So they've started something, but however, because they've started all of these things, I can say that change is definitely coming, and we see that happening quite more often these days. We see a lot more shipping lines being out there and saying that, hey, no, now we're only going to offer rates online. Now we're not going to do this. We're not going to do that. They're taking technology seriously. So we're hoping that by next year, maybe, or sometime, we'll be a lot better with technology in terms of shipping lines. Well, I hope I was able to make some sense in this presentation. And more than anything, I do hope that next time you have a container sitting at your yard and, you know what it is that is required at my end to get that container gated in. And the next time you have some operational issues, hopefully you have an understanding of what exactly we have to do and the processes that we have to follow in order for you to get your solution. These processes are long, so please have some patience. And we ask that all of y'all take these cargoes very seriously. Trading is, I'm sure, a very difficult thing in itself. And I know that a lot of people on this platform today are speaking about how to handle payments with your consignees, etc. But I really do feel that as a community, almost, because we are that, we need to reach forward and move ourselves into a place where we are trusted, we're trustworthy, and we do business to move ahead. Thank you very much for listening. And if you have any questions, please go ahead and ask me. Thank you.
Thank you, Anupa. Now, sorry about all the.
Good morning. Hello, everyone. My name is Anupa Pradhan. I am the
Seems like we're rolling this again. Okay, Anupa, thank you very much. I'm going to I need to add you now as a host. So just a moment. Let's see. Actually, I don't see you in here. Okay, I'm not seeing Anupa. Let me find out if you are here under a different name by chance, then please just send me a message so I can know which person. So is this you, Anupa?
Hi. Yes, it is.
Okay. Right. Got it. Let me set you up now as as a first panelist so that we can bring you alongside me here, and then I will let you take over in just a moment. And you'll need to enable your camera, looks like.
Yes, I am doing that just now.
Okay, all right.
Hello.
So thank you very much for that presentation, and I appreciate your comments about Tradefox. Certainly are happy to be of a service to you guys.
Absolutely.
Shipping is super, I mean, it's obviously the make or break of our business, right? So super important that it continues to evolve, and that we have always needed freight forwarding companies and some type of company that has our back as traders and workers. You've done that a while. That's how I know. That's how we know each other. Actually, when I was in my trading days, Anupa booked many a container for me. So.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much, Chris. This was Tradefox. Really, I'm really excited about what you guys are offering, and that was one of my main reasons for being on this conference and doing this presentation, because it's becoming more and more of a problem to try and find people who we can trust, because just about anyone comes in, starts a business, and becomes a trader. We really need to understand if this person has the financial capacity to take on the risks of this business, because there are several risks involved, and that he's going to be there when that happens, because that's another thing. So yeah, I mean, if anybody has any questions, please feel free to ask me.
Yeah, I'm going to turn this over to you. If you would please raise your hand. There's an icon at the bottom of your screen, and I will just step to the side and we'll connect the people that would like to ask a question. So please raise your hand if you have a question. Okay, Adnan, one moment. Let me enable you. Okay, Adnan, hi. You need to turn your microphone on, looks like.
Yes. Hi, Anupa. My name is Adnan, and I have been importing for the last 5 years.
Hi, Adnan. My name is Anupa.
Hello.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yes,
I can.
Yeah, go on.
All right. I've been importing for the last 5 years. I have very simple question. Why it is compulsion in USA and Canada that the forwarder name must be mentioned on a bill of lading? For example, Sealings or Eagles transshipping on behalf of or for, we see this on normally bill of ladings from Canada and the USA. And second question is, does involvement of a forwarder increase credibility of seller or give surety to buyer that goods are pure?
So the first question, the answer is quite simple. USA, especially USA, is FMC governed, and they require any NDOCC to be on the BL. Without that, they cannot give us a booking. They will not. They will not. It's an FMC law. I can't really tell you the reason behind it. It's just the law. There's a lot of people that used to do this, this game without forwarders being in the shipper column earlier. I know I have in previous companies, but it was just a loophole. So they were just using a loophole to do that. But more and more often, this loophole is now being figured out by lines, and they are saying they're refusing to to even sign contracts with forwarders anymore if they have these kind of bill of ladings. So that's the first thing. I didn't quite understand your second question. Can you repeat that one more time?
It's if a forwarder is getting involved, its name is being mentioned on the bill of lading. Does it mean automatically that the goods are pure and the forwarder has checked itself that everything is okay there? Does it automatically mean if you as a sailing forwarder or carrier, you pick up a shipment, then you send that shipment to Pakistan? So if I see that on the bill of lading, your name, your company's name is mentioned, then does it mean I should be happy that a forwarder has picked that goods and has sent to me, and those goods must be pure or without any impurity?
No.
I mean, is there any responsibility on your part of the game?
We
When
are a non-vessel operating carrier, which means just like a shipping line, except we don't have our own ship. Every shipping line or a carrier like us are shipping a container with set to contain. It is the shipper's responsibility to check what is in the container. Most of the times we are not even there to pick up the load. Only in terms of X works are we there where we are doing trucking for you. So most of the times, all of the cargo is FAS. So we're not even at your yard to pick up the container. They have picked up the container themselves. They've loaded it themselves and they've brought it to the port. We don't actually check these containers. That's just how it is with shipping. Shipping lines will not verify the cargo.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? Just raise your hand, please. Any questions here? Let me, 1 second. Okay, all right. Let me go back to the image just a moment. Okay, yeah. Any other questions for Anupa related to shipping, freight forwarding? Please raise your hand and let us know. Well, maybe that's it. It was a very interesting. Let me hop back on actually 1 moment. It was a very interesting presentation, and let me try to get back on here. Sorry. Yeah, I can't seem to pop back on, so my apologies. Anyway, so but Anupa, thank you very much, and we'll certainly do our part to help you guys, and I look forward to talking about ways that perhaps we can work together in a more close fashion.
Yes, yes, that would really help, Chris. I think we can definitely do a lot of stuff together, especially with this initiative that you have. I think it's very needed. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much.